Hey everybody, welcome to episode 117 of Noodle Time. With me, the entire Foxtrot team, starting on my left-hand side, OSG, old soccer guy, the founder, the leader,
Optimistic,
Andres, dynamic Foxtrot, and Fabrizio in the making, JP Pereira, and myself, El Dinámico. Join us as we recap the action this past week.
All right, yo. So let's get into the episode. Let's get started with the dash here. 2-1 loss at Seattle Reign FC. It was a sad game to watch. Man, I can talk all day about that bar penalty, but we're gonna get into the game first. But OSG,
Well, you know,
let's get into it.
before you even ask me the next question, I didn't even realize that they're not OL Reign no more until I was like paying attention to the commentators during the game, which I usually don't do. I watch the game, I focus on the game and pay attention, and I didn't realize they were bought out. And now they're the Seattle Reign. They're not the OL Reign because they're not related to the French club anymore. So they're the Seattle Reign now. So that threw me off. I kept calling them OL Reign. I kept searching Twitter OL Reign and never could find them. Like, what the hell, man? It makes sense now.
Yeah, like it happened recent. Like it like the past couple of years, it's been, of course, the French group came in. They brought up Seattle Reign. They got rebranded as OL Reign. But then the Sounders came in. They got them back to Seattle. They got rebranded back to Seattle Reign. And I can understand the confusion there, but yeah, from there on, for like I would say like for the past couple of years, barely, like they've been back to Seattle Reign, and
Felt like it was just this year.
Yeah,
but a simple $59 million brings your club back to your hometown, Seattle.
They'll take it.
Yeah, of course they will.
Yeah, but we're just getting back into the game itself. I was expecting the Dash to just start playing around. Of course, the fact of like Zoe Matthews coming in, and I was expecting it to start initially because at this point of the season, second to last game of the year, we're gonna start looking into next year as we have repeatedly said for like the past few episodes. Already out of playoffs, and she didn't start, but she was still off the bench, and I was expecting her to start already. And of course, a lot of things to think about up until next year. But the one thing I wanted to say is, I already kind of spoiling it if you're to watch the game already. It was just the fact that they had some already pretty good ideas like set up with the foundation and all that. But I wanted to hear your thoughts first.
On which part? What do I mean? You talked about the organization, Zoe Matthews. I mean, which part?
Offensively speaking, because they have some good ideas against OL
Oh,
Reign or Seattle Reign. I feel like they've been. Of course, we haven't been pretty great offensively. We haven't scored a lot of goals, but into this game, in the first half particularly, I feel like they were able to get the ball more, or at least get into some more scoring opportunities more. And I was a fan of that, and I just wanted to see what you thought about that.
well, I don't know, man. I'm not a fan of Yuki at the 9 to begin with. First off, um, she's been doing great. She's doing better than than what I expected from her this season. But like her at the 9. I know Ordonez was hurt and was limited and still didn't play anyways, and she's not my 9 either. Just let's make that clear. We don't have a 9 technically right now. We don't have a 9 at all. So the attack, there is none, and there hasn't been any all season. So it's just a question of what can we do to make ourselves competitive in this game. But as far as attacking, Jesus, man, it's harsh because you know what you get from maybe Patterson. The other side is, Andres is missing, but you got Barb on the other side who actually played as the other. We're in a 4-4-2 now a little bit, and Barb playing up top with Yuki. I can't. It doesn't even make sense. Yuki playing a forward position. I know she's more of a cam, but Jesus, that's our forward, or is she 42 or whatever years old? I'm sorry, Yuki, if you're listening to this. Like you've been doing, like I said, you've been doing great this season, man. It's just that you're not the girl I like. You're not the forward I want. You're not the striker I want. You're not the striker that's going to get us over the top. So, yeah, I'm sorry. And then, Lozi isn't the answer either, even though she was on international break or whatever she did. She took a break off this game, but we don't have a striker right now, man. So there is no attacking. There is no anything right now. So it's the defensive juggernaut try to survive and try to make it through the game and score as we can score. And that's how we're playing right now. There's nothing you can do about it. I'm glad that we're playing four defenders now, even though they're four not your four starting defenders, but they're four defenders again. So we're kind of the 4-4-2, and I prefer that over the 3-5-2 that Fromm brought in here. I believe in the 3-5-2, but it didn't work out with this system and with these players either, man. So no, we're not scoring. We're not attacking.
And as much as I am a Yuki fan, I do agree with the fact that she's on a 9. She's gonna play a little bit more back to succeed, even though she has been able to find more scoring opportunities or being more involved in those dangerous opportunities. She's been able to find a little bit more success over time. And also the fact that Bachmann and Alosi haven't been available for this game, it it, it was pretty damaging for the Dash, particularly because they haven't been able to get a lot of goals this year. So yeah, this game it was kind of like, okay, let's see what we can do tonight because we do have an international break coming up, and a lot of the players are going to be available, and it's still Ricky Clark trying to figure out what to think about heading into next year because we only have 2 games left in the year, and yeah, like
He,
I do have a
he,
lot of bias for Yuki. Yeah, you can go.
he doesn't have options to use right now. He's limited. He's
Right.
got like barely a starting 11, and that's not the starting 11 that you would use if you coming into this game. Bachman, what the hell, girl? Like, all right, you come back for one friggin' game and then you're out again for some unknown reason? Come on, woman. Are you with us or are you not? If you're not, get the freaking hell out of here or DTFO. Dash the fuck on. We need
I
you. We want to use you. If you're here with us, be with us and play with us. If you're sick or you're hurt, then that's fine. I understand it. There's not a lot of transparency with the dash, and that's a problem that the fans are having right now. And they're not explaining a lot. So why the hell is Bachman missing so much playing time? Or you're an important piece. We were excited about you coming to the team. And now that we're sitting in last place, it just looks like you're a diva to me. And I have no other reason to believe that besides you're not playing. You missed a lot of time for excused absences. You come back for one game, for a partial game, you didn't even start, and then you're gone again for an excused absence. What's the excused absence, man? Come on, Jesus Christ. I want
the
vacation. I got PTO too, but you can't use PTO during a game day. Girl, come on, Bachman, where the hell you at? You're an important piece. And we're going to get into this later in the episode about important pieces needed around her. But Bachman, are you with us or are you not? I ask you, Bachman.
the
Sorry,
only
rant.
reason because she was listed as excused absence. The only reason I see it is because of the international duty because she was called up to Swiss national team. But I do agree with what you said because we are at even though we're out of playoffs, it's still an important part of the season because we are heading into the last 2 games of the year. We still don't know what we are, or at least we're trying to figure out what we're trying to become heading into next year. And this is pretty important. Like playoffs, okay, we're out. I get that you want to be with the national team, but heading into next year, obviously you're saying into the next few years already because of the contract you've already signed. And Bachman not being there is telling me like I get why you prefer the national team, but you still gotta be for the club. And your responsibility, especially being in the situation with the Dasha right now, you are last place in the NWSL. You're trying to figure out heading into next year how do you want to play. and especially with just being in the locker room and with the players, you still want to be available with them. You still want to be that leader that you've been a veteran for so many years already. You want to connect with them, because if you're there, even if you lose the games, it matters a lot to them. And Bachman not being there in that important time, like for me, it's a little bit concerning, because even though I definitely see why you prefer just being with the national team, representing your nationality, all that, you still have a responsibility with the club that you signed for, that you already signed for so many years, or like have like an extended amount of time committed to them. You gotta have you have to commit to them. You have to be in the locker room. You have to be there in the bad moments, just to grow over time. And it sucks, because I've been a fan of Bachman whenever she came in already, and it's just sad that she just prefers to have an excused absence for like the 10th time this year. And I get it. Like, it's just annoying, and it definitely sucks. Even though with the last year, I feel like she could have had like an edge into the game, probably get a result here, but it's just miserable. And a lot of players have been getting a lot of have been missing a lot of time with the team already. Obviously, some I get the reasoning why I'm not really discussing that, but a lot of players have been missing, and you can see those players how the season could have turned out already at this point. Like, even though
That's a
it's been already far too late.
poor excuse, because if you're a player and you're on a sorry ass team, as in the last place team in the NWSL, who's been in the last place for quite a few seasons and hasn't been anything, and you're a player on that team and you want to get out and you want to do something better for yourself, sitting on the bench and sitting at home walking your dogs or walking your or playing with your cats or hugging your wife or whatever the hell you're doing isn't solving your problem. Playing the game and putting putting your game on the resume and you're telling your agent, I want to be somewhere else, then that's how you sell yourself. But doing nothing tells other clubs that, hey, no, she's not loyal, first off. Like, you came in, you played 3 games, you got hurt, you missed a few games, then you're international duty, you missed some more games, and you're here or you're not. I don't know what the hell's going on with her. So Bachman's a sore subject. We could be harsh right now. That's just our perspective as a fan from the outside who doesn't know nothing. So, granted, don't give us the harsh remarks because we're making this statement right now. But that's just how we see it from the outside looking in, man. And
Yep.
it sucks. This team needs to improve, and it needs to improve right now. You know, shoot, Jessica was walking around the entire Dynamo game all last night. I saw her like
Yeah. Yesterday.
six different times. Yeah, I'm like, so I don't know. This is a subject. I'll go ahead and bring it up right now, and then boom, drop it in because it's a great segue. Jessica O'Neill has 2 positions. She's the president of the Dynamo and the president of the Dash. Is she overwhelmed in her position? Is she doing put too much in her position? The Dynamo are secure right now. So do Jessica need to put her 2 cents into this right now? Or is a lot of her 2 cents related to the Dynamo's success at the same time? We don't know that. We correlated to Pat Olstad and Asher Mendelson. We don't mention Jessica O'Neill. Jessica O'Neill could be a very key figure into to making those moves that have made the Dynamo where they are. But when we look at the Dash side of it, there's no names left over. It's just her name and the shit show that's been going on. So she's getting a lot of blame. And then we see her at the Dynamo game. You're like, she's doing her job. She's putting herself out there in public. She's the face of the team or part of the team. So, uh, I don't know. I just wish there's more transparency on the Dash side of things. I just wish there was more clarity. I just wish we see who the players are that want to be here and enjoy the show, and the other players we're gonna have questions, and that's what we see from our side. So, if you're listening to this, or any of y'all players that are listening to this and want to talk to the other players, let them know. Be a little more social. We see you on social when you're at home and playing with your animals, but let's see you with the team. Hey, shout out Jalissa, I can't even say Jalissa's first name
Jalen
correctly right
Harris,
now.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's so hard to say. And Ryan Gary's obviously like the social media face of the team. Like they they just everybody wants to talk to her, interview her. She's got a great personality. She knows what she's talking about too. Great. You got Barb. You get off a few times. Some of those players right there, you look at and you recognize, and they may not be great the greatest of players on the field, but they bring it to the fans, and the fans like them more, and then they get more praise when they do play well on the field. And Ryan Gary, shout out. Coming back off of her pregnancy and returning, she's looking great right now. Am pleased with her performances, so I'm glad she's here. We continue. Chapman looking great. I don't know where that speed's coming from, Mama, but hey, make me feel better about you sticking around with this team and coming off of that. You know, Katie Lynn, I hope you come back strong as well, man. So I'm kind of rambling now. Shit, getting off subject, but that's my bad. I will stop right now and let you take back control.
That's
Bachman
okay.
got me on
Like,
a rant.
no, I get it. Like, it's been a situation like we've been going for so long that you've already like off screen because it's getting dark
Yeah.
out there. But yeah, like in the silver linings and all that, Zoe Matthews, shout out to her making her Dash debut at 17 years old. She only played 5 minutes, but I'm finally glad she's been able to make her debut heading into next year. I was hoping she would start, but the debut's okay. But I feel like she could have played more minutes tonight because we only play for pride here and looking into next year and all that. So kind of sucks, but finally she's been able to play for the Dash already. And man, stop fouling Barb, man. Stop fouling Barb inside the box because it's gonna be a penalty already. A second game in a row. What are you gonna say, man?
Hey, well, Zoe, shout out you getting the start. Your parents were there. You get to hug your parents while at the game too. And I wasn't expecting you to play at all. I mean, I guess I kind of expected you since we don't have a lineup right now. So good.
Yeah,
You got to play 2 year contract. So it's good that we got to see you. I like what I saw for the few minutes you got to play. You're going to get to grow and you're going to be a part of this team for the next 2 years. So let's see what you got and continue to grow, man. Barb getting that penalty kick. I'm glad she can shoot it. That wasn't a great penalty kick. So I won't go on my rant about how you take great penalties right now. Her other one was a lot better, but at least you got that goal right there and made it competitive. Too bad we couldn't win and wooden spoon secured almost. Yeah,
yeah.
secured.
I guess that's something to think about into next year because we're gonna be the worst team in NWSL this year heading to decision day. And yeah, at this point, like we've been saying for the past few episodes already, we're just gonna start testing out what we can do heading into next year because we're gonna see new ideas. We've already been seeing some of that in the Seattle game and the game before that. And like we've been saying already, this isn't Ricky Clark's team. Ricky's already testing to see what he can do with what the lineup he has. And the core here, he has already resigned. And yeah, like it's just annoying because like you said before, it's just a matter of transparency. Transparency we haven't been seeing a lot outside of the press conference we saw like a couple weeks ago. And yeah, like it's just a matter of what we're gonna do heading into the off season. We're still they've already said that they're still in like interviewing GMs and all that, but it's just a matter to see what's gonna happen because we don't know anything.
No, we don't know anything at all. Like, man, like you said, there is no transparency right now. So we'll just have to wait. We got an international break coming up this week, and then we're back at home for our final, we'll call it decision day, even though we're not a part of it. The decision is what decisions we're going to make in the off season. So we'll
Yeah,
stick with decision day against Bay, and I think and Bay still fighting for a playoff spot. Dude, I did. OSG is mileage tracker is on empty right now, so I didn't check the standings just to see what Bay was looking at, see if they're coming in playing for something. I believe they're 8 and they are playing for a playoff spot, so we can still be spoiler and play a great game and you got a fan appreciation night, just like last night with the Dynamo. It was so fucking awesome, man. Uh, let's get it. Bring the fans. Let's see if we can get at least 8,000 there. 5,400 is the typical, or 4,700 is the typical attendance. Let's see if we can get 8,000 fans there. Maybe 10 if we're lucky, and finish the season. Just end the season. Send these girls home happy, and maybe they can come back fighting like in a whole nother realm next round, next
And
season.
Houston can play spoilers that night because they do have to beat Bay FC, but Racing Louisville have to overcome the goal differential to get above AFC, unless there's a tiebreaker missing wins, because like MLS already has like the wins goal differential, or like the wins at the first tiebreaker, goal differential the second one. I'm not sure that's gonna be the same as NWSL, but hey man, we just gotta get the win here. And the best thing of all is the fact that, as we found out already on Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, the Dash are playing on Saturday, leading up to the Dynamo playoff game against Seattle on Sunday. So you do have the opportunity to watch two soccer games on the same weekend at Shell Energy Stadium. So you gotta be there. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna try to get the day off on Monday because it's gonna be insane. And regardless of what you think about the Dash and all that, you gotta support the girls no matter what. Like they had to fight an uphill battle all year long because of the coaching situation, player situation, all the injuries, and all that. And they've been fighting for the jersey, as you saw in the game before against Seattle. They've been trying to battle as many things as possible, and it's unfortunate that they're in this position right now, but they're giving a lot of effort to players. So you just gotta show up, support the players, support the club, heading to next year. Next year could be different, but as of right now, we gotta support them. So I invite you guys to be there on Saturday before the Dynamo game, because for us, it's a duty, and no matter what, we have to support them in the worst situations. Because at the end of the day, like tomorrow, they could be in a better situation, but now they need us.
Hey, they definitely need us, and there's no excuse not to go there. Like you said, it's a Saturday night dash game, 8 o'clock, I think it is, or 8:30, whichever. It's going to be a little bit of a later game just because it's Bay FC or whatever, decision day, blah blah
8:30. Yeah.
blah. Yeah, so whatever. It'll be a late game, but like you said, we got Dynamo the next day, so I'll be spending the night like you. First off, and we'll just have a good little time, man, and hopefully we can send Bay FC, relegate them, not relegate them. So I mean, keep them from making the playoffs, and and send them home mad, and get us a win, and just make us a little bit friggin' happy as we close our season off. Things will be better, man. It'll be better. We got a lot to work out, but can you see me a little better now?
Yeah.
All right. So one question, last question I have for the dash segment, as we close the dash segment off, man. And this is the thing that the broadcasters actually brought up on the game. We've re-signed all these friggin' players. We do not have a GM. We do not have a coach. So we're kind of dictating where we want to go with what style of play we want to play. And we haven't even hired a general manager. We haven't even hired a coach. So Jessica O'Neill basically is dictating what where we're going with this. So I don't know what that does. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that's a good thing. But when I heard about it, I thought about it a little more, and I was like, that was not a good tactic. I like keeping core players, but is that the core players that a general manager and a new head coach would want? So I think we've limited our availability on who we can hire now because of the dictation of setting this core up. So a general manager might come in like, I can't work with these players, and be like, all right, I'm taking my application out. So that's just something I wanted to bring up as we close out on the dash segment.
And that's something that was brought up in the broadcast in the last game. The fact that they signed these players, and even though these players have a lot of experience with the team, and I could definitely bring in their own DS heading into next year. That doesn't necessarily mean that the the next coach, or even the next GM are going to like them or try to see how they can fit in because they don't believe they can fit into the system they're gonna be adopting. And I agree with that because it's pretty tough for a coach to come in and try to adapt them into the system they want to be, or like the system they want to work with, because it's extremely difficult. The players play in their own specific way, and I'm just trying to get them to play this particular way you want to set them with. It's insane. So I can definitely see why that's already like a handicap heading into next year, or try to find success heading into 2025. And and yeah, like it's just a headache at this point. So we're just gonna have to wait into the off season and see what they're gonna say. Unless they have a coach already, which kind of doesn't make any sense because they've already said that they've been working on the interviews since like the past couple of weeks or so. So we don't know. We don't
The
know.
GM comes first. The GM comes first, man. But hey, I think we went a little long with Dash right now. So I think we just cut it off. Let these people chill a little bit. We got a break this weekend from the Dash, so let them enjoy the international break, and then we'll bring it back up in 2 weeks, and we'll see you at the stadium. Get your friggin' tickets and go to the last game. Fan Appreciation Day.
Yeah. Go to the Dash game, y'all. Last game of the season for the Dash, facing Bay FC. It's gonna be at 8:30 on Saturday night. And yeah, just go get your tickets, man. Last opportunity for the year to see them play, and probably the last time you see them just being in that bad situation. So you see them hopefully improve next year, but we don't know. We'll see
Hey,
though.
I like that optimism right there. I'm with it though. I'm with it. I believe. We have a good core. Let's just secure our GM. Let's secure our head coach. Once we get those two, then we know what we can be happy about or we're going to be sad about. So, we'll see what's up. We'll see, DTF on to the
Yep.
next segment of the show.
Yeah, we're gonna be talking those later on, but first let's get into the Dynamo talk. So check it out. All right, so we are back now for the Dynamo discussion, and it's about time because we got a lot to talk about. 2-1 win over LA Galaxy, decision day, man.
Decision friggin' day. The hype, the sellout, the anticipated crowd, the atmosphere, what were the Dynamo going to do at home on decision day, the inconsistency of playing at home, the hell in the shell with the possibility of return with the sellout crowd. I didn't know what to do. I was optimistic but objective at the same time coming into this game, and I didn't know what to expect. LA had to fight for their first seed. Hindsight, they didn't make it. They lost the game and lost their first seed second. So this is going to be one of those fights. But man, I've got something I want to ask y'all a little bit later. But we'll get into this, man. What a friggin' dub at home. Hell in the shell.
Man,
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, the vibes surrounding this match, you could feel it before the match even started. When the line started, it started to become, existent. I usually don't arrive to games and see that line that long, like 2 hours before the match. I could tell there was this energy, and when people were getting their flags, they were waving them around. There were kids having fun, enjoying the experience. This was football. This is what we enjoy football for these types of moments. And I'm going to pass it off to you, Herman, but I already know you and me were like excited entering this match.
The atmosphere
Everyone.
was amazing. The atmosphere was amazing. It is a dress rehearsal for the fans as well, for a playoff atmosphere. That's genuinely what it felt like tonight. The concourse were buzzing, and you sit in your crowd and you feel the energy, and that's what we want to make it feel at Hell in the Shell.
That was fun, man. Fun. And since we're talking about the crowd, let's just focus on the crowd. And like Juan mentioned, it all started prior to the game. There was tailgates in Lot C. You're showing up at 4 o'clock, 4:30, and you're seeing the traffic coming in. And there's nothing else going on downtown right now. So you're seeing all these people start to build in the lot, and everybody's having fun at the tailgate, the surge and the Texian, and then like Juan said, they're building up that line prior. Gates don't open until 6:30 and 6 o'clock. The lines were pretty long, really making us believe this was going to be an actual sellout, not a pretend sellout like some teams do sometimes, you know. But this was just fun. The atmosphere was great. I enjoyed watching the game as well, just hearing the crowds, the damn kids trying to start a wave every 3 seconds, the fans from other sections just having a good time, man. This is what it's like. This is what we missed. This is back from 20 years ago, over 12 years ago, from the good old days, Robertson days, the beginning of Shell. So, man, it's nice. Hopefully we can keep it up, but 2 years in a row.
About time. The first time in a while we've made back-to-back playoff appearances. It's been incredible. The team has been putting a lot of effort, and they definitely missed a big crowd like this one. Of course, we've been having issues with attendance over time, especially the past few years, and mainly just coming off like pretty bad seasons. I don't know. Yeah, the one thing that I was just concerned about is like, we always have some good crowds sometimes, especially for like big games like this one, and they don't show up. Like the Dynamo, for some reason, they just play weirdly. I don't know why that's the case, but it happened a couple of times already here. And this game was the difference, man. This game was just like you couldn't. We talked about like LA Galaxy just having to win this game, and just for like playoff scenarios and all that, but. LA Galaxy was still in it even after like Houston's first goal and all that, and the crowd just had to be behind the team at all times, and they did it tonight.
Yeah, man. And in terms of how the game actually developed, now we can start entering into a little bit of what happened during the match. Just my take on it, this was different from the usual Dynamo match at home. When we're talking Dynamo, we usually talk about, 55%, 60% possession in the first half against anyone, right? And usually the story is, we aren't able to convert the chances that we are given. Well, this game was much different, with LA Galaxy actually controlling possession for large parts of the game, and Houston Dynamo dropping into their 4-4-2 shape. And Ben also talked about in the post-game press conference, it wasn't perfect, but they were able to, take some pressure. They were able to take some pressure, and then actually have some possession of their own. So it was just two really, really good teams on the ball fighting for who was going to control that battle. And I thought in the first half, it started more LA Galaxy, then Houston Dynamo built into the match, and that's when the first goal happened with Ezequiel Ponce.
Yeah, and I just want to add a little background. I feel like the game was intense because the LA Galaxy had something to play for.
Yep.
Coming into this game, the Dynamo, we knew we would be somewhere between 5th and 7th at the end of this. And because LA Galaxy hadn't solidified its first place standing, it's what helped the intensity in this match.
It definitely brought it. LA brought it. I mean, they needed that win to keep the first seed. Now, if numbers play out, LA Galaxy have to go through LAFC to get to the MLS Cup, which I know they're hating that right now. I mean, right as the game ended, I was getting messages from LA thanking us for beating the LA Galaxy. And like it's crazy, but that's the part of decision day. Decision day means so much, and for me, what this does mean for us going into the playoffs, I'm feeling a lot better. Even though we're going to be playing Seattle in that round of 3, I'm feeling a lot better because we know how we played on the road this season. We do know Seattle's tough. We play well on the road, but this was a statement game at home for the league to take notice. You won at home. You won versus the LA Galaxy, who played their full roster, their full squad, and they brought it. 2.2 for expected goals for them, 1.6 for us. We did win possession. Shots were even. We had 9 or 10 corners to their 5, and in the end, you saw the cross was the difference. But man, I think building off, like Ben said, building off of this game with this atmosphere. Taking the time to even thanking the fans immediately after the game, taking the mic, thanking the fans, and reminding them like, hey, you came out here, we appreciate you. Come back again, and let's do this again. And the team confidence, and you saw the passion when Daniel Stairs scored that freaking goal to end the game. Eric and Dorsey both over here go straight to the fans, and they're pumping the crowd up while everybody's celebrating and getting ready. And of course, that was in the last 30 seconds of the game, so of course everybody's going to be pumped up. But for the interaction and the passion and like they said 2 years ago, changing this team, we're changing the culture, we're bringing something different, and 100% it is different, and you can see it. I mean, as we're interviewing Ben in the presser, you hear the music in the locker room going off. These guys are having a hell of a time, man. And it's Saturday night, so they don't have far to go home.
Yeah, and the one thing I wanted to say is just that this is a mentality we have to have because we just played the best team in the Western Conference, in my opinion. This LA Galaxy is just a different team that I've been seeing for the past few years. Of course, a team that wasn't, for the past few years, wasn't like the team that it was historically, like winning the championships back to back and just making MLS Cup appearances like it was nothing. They showed up tonight, and from the first 2 minutes, we had to force 4 fouls because that's how intense they play. And with that mentality that we have, it feels like we can overcome any challenge. I feel like that's what gave us the edge tonight because they never gave up. The one thing that I kept saying over and over in this game is just the fact that they have to keep up momentum. They cannot afford a mistake here. Unfortunately, that mistake came in a penalty for them, which was a penalty after watching the replay. But they just never quit, especially at the stoppage time because they had after the VR check and all that. So it's just amazing. The boys didn't quit, and they deserve this win.
We've talked about this before when it comes to this Dynamo team and the potential that they have, right? We've seen it with possession of the ball. Probably one of the best teams in the league, if not the best, in terms of like the tiki-taka, the backheel passes, the flair of it. But we've never seen that finishing product come together like it has maybe when Ezequiel Ponce has come in. And some people are critical of Ponce, maybe because he hasn't been scoring every single game. But I want to remind the fans out there, he's on a good goal pace right now per 90 minutes.
Lion Jada is mid.
Ponce's game, bro.
So the point with, at least with the attack now, this game showed me that we can get the random goal from Steris, right? Like the goals we've been getting all year from the random heroes, right? We finally have a player who we can count on every 2 games. Be like, I'll get that first one. Now everybody else worked together to get that second one. And that was the difference for me. That earlier this year, I don't know if that would have happened. I think it would have just been 1-0, right? LAFC, score, and then we are just pushing numbers into the box, but no number 9 to like put some danger into it. Now, of course, that second goal came from that mysterious player, but at least you got that first one. That first one sets the tone for the rest of the match. So I think Ponce, even though he came off, his impact was well known even after he came off the game.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil the mood a little bit, but I do agree that it's nice having a target man striker that can take advantage of those opportunities in the box when they present themselves. If the Dynamo want to keep playing their style, they got to take advantage of the set pieces that they do have. And they did that tonight during Ponce's goal. To allude to Juan's point, I do believe this team showed you tonight that they have the grit. And that goes to OSG's point as to why they're a good road team. They're united, there's team chemistry, and that's what you need in these playoffs. When it is not going pretty, you need to find a way, and I think this team has that.
Yep.
I think tonight, just because we're typically used to Dynamo, like LA scored that first goal to tie the game with 3 minutes left in the game, and you're like, this is over. Everybody give up.
1-1.
It's over.
Yeah.
But no, I think this crowd didn't give up, and it fled onto the field. Dynamo pushed and got 3 or 4 crosses off before they found Daniel Steris. And what a good Steris getting up like he's on the slam dunk contest.
Yeah.
And getting that goal and over the keeper. I don't think that keeper realized what it was like, and then he looked over and it was in the friggin' net. And then, like Daniel said in the presser, he just laid on the ground. That's the celebration, bro. The team comes to him and just pounces on him, and they enjoy every friggin' moment of it. We celebrate. Everybody celebrates. The rockets go off in the background. The smoke is flooding the supporter section. What a friggin' amazing night. What a friggin' amazing game. Thank God.
Yeah. No, I needed that win, and like I said before, it happened at stoppage time right after conceded the penalty kick, and I was like, is this actually for real? And it's actually reality. And I'm so happy they got the win here.
Player spotlight in this game, Brooklyn Reigns. So I want to hear from you, Herman, and then Juan, you follow up. Brooklyn Reigns has been mentioned getting a second start, and he doesn't get much playing time during the season. He's been having to fight for that. I think it's because his form in practice hasn't been well enough, but he's been showing out a little bit lately. He's been getting some extra time. He played tonight, came in at halftime for Achi. I was kind of surprised by that substitution too. not that Achi was coming out at 45, but Reigns was going in his place with 45 to go against the LA Galaxy. When you're up a goal already, you know they're going to be putting the pressure. So, man, shout out to Reigns, man.
Yeah, actions speak louder than words. And the fact that Ben Olsen puts Brooklyn Reigns in Achi's position at the time that he did shows the confidence they have in him. And I think he earned that confidence from a good showing previously in St. Louis. So he's stacking these performances up, and it's impressive for a 19-year-old.
Good time to do it, too, going into the playoffs.
Good time to do it.
Yeah.
You trust your depth. He made his presence felt in the midfield, dribbling around people and making the pass. But most notably is that goal line clearance.
And to add to that real quick, to say Junior Moreno played 4 years under Ben Olsen and has joined the team. Didn't see the field tonight. Reigns got the edge. That's something to say about Brooklyn Reigns. Going to U20 camp, doing everything. Reigns is doing everything right. That's a big shout out to that kid. Reigns, whoever's listening, let him know.
Yeah,
TV says big shout out, bro.
So at least like tactically looking at what Brooklyn Reigns did today, we know that Hector Herrera is the box-to-box midfielder of this team. But Hector Herrera does a little different. Instead of fully hustling and running, he scans his options first and then picks a space to go into. Brooklyn Reigns is a little different. He's always 100% action, and that can be good and bad. But in this game, when you needed someone to counter the pressure that LA Galaxy was giving you, he was the outlet. His team wasn't afraid to pass the ball to him, and I feel like that is probably the biggest thing I've seen from Brooklyn Reigns recently. At first, during the season, I could tell whenever he had the ball, he didn't feel fully secure with it, right? So with Brooklyn Reigns, he's definitely a disruptor type of box-to-box midfielder, not the type to scan and go into pockets of space where he feels the most comfortable. He can do that. But I thought in this game, he was the disruptor the Dynamo needed in that position of Achi. And in the end, his goal line clearance, I think that's the play of the season for him. I honestly think in his career, the play of his life. And that's something I will definitely not forget for a couple weeks. Just the way he put his body on the line for that, like a true box-to-box midfielder would. Acting like a defender at times, being a vital piece of the offensive transition. What a game, Brooklyn Reigns. We're all really proud of you.
No, the trust though, like you guys mentioned, it's incredible the amount of trust that Ben Olsen has with him now. And we've only been able to see Brooklyn Reigns play a few minutes during a few games, and now we know that he's the plan, and there's a reason why he's playing here. So it's just great to see him just be in a situation like this, subbing in for Hector Herrera in a must-win game. Amazing.
Just to quickly recap, we took the lead 1-0 before half. We talked about the Ponce set piece. Achi played his 45 minutes. OSG, I want to hear your thoughts on his performance tonight. And then in the second half, we talked about Brooklyn's performance. Andres, I would love to hear your thoughts on the penalty because it seemed like you actually studied the replay.
It was Ricky Puig got like tripped, and it's no question for me. So the penalty kick was well taken. Well, at least like they were able to fool Steve Clark, unfortunately, but yeah, it was a penalty kick.
And then OSG, your thoughts on Achi?
Achi to me, good to have him back. I mean, it's the season that he's had this year. Nothing spectacular stands out. Definitely tonight, nothing stood out at all to me. He made a couple passes. He didn't make anything. A couple errant passes, as a matter of fact. So tonight, I'm going to grade him a little bit lower than typical. Probably a little bit below average kind of performance tonight. We do know he's getting back into fitness from being off with his thigh injury or hammy injury, whichever it is. So he's probably playing a little safe tonight. Achi was just a little bit lackadaisical performance. I'm okay with Reigns coming in at halftime. I thought maybe we could have made Sabah could have came in at halftime and made a little change. But hey, it worked out. Big shout out to Reigns. Hector, he'll be ready, and I think he'll probably play the 60, 75 in Seattle. You know, we still have a whole week. They're going to take Sunday and Monday off, so they're going to relax. You know, these kids have been playing games. He's ready to go, man. I think tonight was just take it easy and not try as hard as for Achi. So I'm not going to judge him too much on this game tonight, especially coming back off an injury.
Well, at least for me, in terms of how Achi played, and I think Ben Olsen talked about it in his post-game press conference. Hector's just Hector. Obviously, we thought today wasn't his best match, but class is permanent. With a player like him, you can count on him, even with the few errant passes, to give you that calmness. And that's also what I was kind of talking about Brooklyn Reigns. When the players trust a player like that, it helps everything flow better, even if they don't have their best game. Just having that trust to maybe try a backheel pass, because you know Hector's close, and even if he doesn't receive it, he'll try to make a tackle. He'll hold his line defensively. So yeah, even though I didn't think he had his best game, and I thought it was fine that Brooklyn Reigns came in, Hector's just Hector, and it's always great to have him back. And I thought at least defensively, our shape was much better when he was there than without. Or maybe it's just because LA Galaxy was putting up the tempo. But that first half, after those first 5 minutes, I thought we weathered the storm much better.
We're unbiased on this show, correct?
Sure.
I guess, yeah.
Speak to me about the transition and how dangerous LA Galaxy were on the counters, especially on that left wing where the speed just beat
Dorsey sucked.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Dorsey didn't have a good game, but it goes to show just the pressure that LA Galaxy brought, like, since the first minute. And like I said before, Houston couldn't really afford to get caught flat-footed. And in most of those opportunities, thankfully, the backline was just ready for anything that came their way. But yeah, those flanks, man, they just kept running over and over and over again. Payne still was just finding those opportunities, especially on his own side, all game long. And Dorsey just had issues, and it was a very, very strange for everything that he can do.
Dorsey tied both shoes together and played this game tonight. I don't think he realized he did that. The speed, I don't know if he's played against that kind of speed in a long time, but the speed just took him over today. And in the first half, there was one of these plays that he just burned Dorsey, and I was like, here goes the Anali play, here goes the Anali play. But once he got to the box, his touch was horrible, and they allowed the defense to come back up, and then it was just a weak shot. So worked out. So Dorsey got his butt kicked tonight and played the entire 90. But that dude didn't score. And that dude put himself in a situation by giving himself a yellow card because he was a flopper too.
Yeah.
Bro, you had too much speed, too much quality. Play the game.
So at least for Dorsey, and I think we can all agree today wasn't a good game from him. Okay? I did tell Herman this earlier in the match. Those first couple of minutes, Dorsey was going to have a tough game regardless. Because what was happening is LA Galaxy were overloading not the Dorsey side, the left side, right? And then switching over for that one-on-one against Dorsey, because we all know Dorsey isn't the best defender. He's an attacking fullback. So instantly you're seeing 2 versus 1s with Dorsey, and he has to make a choice there, either step up or track back. And we saw when he did track back, it was too late. And that would eventually lead to him being burnt on that counter. So it wasn't his best game, but I do believe he slightly redeemed himself with that assist at the end. At least my mentality is when you win a game 2-1 and you get the assist, how you played prior to that is secondary. What matters is 3 points. And the Dynamo didn't play the best game today. But we've talked about this before. I'd much rather them play worse, but get the 3 points at the end of the day.
And we know that Dorsey's best attribute is going forward. And in the first half, his crosses weren't the best of quality. But you touched on it. As the game went on in the second half, his services got better as the game progressed. And as we saw, one where he barely missed Ponce and Aliyu was back there waiting, and then to get the game winner, it was right on his status.
Hey, cross is not as easy as we make it dog too.
No.
And they're taking target crosses sometimes. They're putting the ball across the front of the goal on the floor. They're trying to trick the keeper. They're putting it over the keeper. It's like it's hard, and you're under pressure. So Dorsey made some crosses tonight, and a lot of them missed a target. But that's on the Dynamo too, to anticipate. If it's going to miss the middle, someone needs to be on that backside like Aliyu. Aliyu comes in too far sometimes. The ball went over, and he couldn't even chase it because he went out of bounds. So, I don't. Hey, at least Dorsey gets the friggin' assist for the night he had. So, and goes to the crowd again. Goes to the crowd. Lets them know. So, Dorsey, you had a bad game, but bro, you kept playing. So, good job, sir.
Yeah, and just going back to the mentality part. Like, it made the entire difference. Of course, Dorsey just had a bad game, but ended up having the game-winning assist. So, like, as long as you're in that position of, okay, what happened that time, gotta forget it. It's all about now. And especially just being in a situation where you're like, okay, we just conceded a penalty in stoppage time. Is there gonna be more stoppage time, more opportunities for us to win this game? And he just like looked straight into the game, and he was like, okay, nothing happened. Like, what matters is now. And for me, it was just amazing. Just I keep saying it again over and over, but it's just incredible how this team just manages to persevere in moments like this.
And my favorite part from this game, actually, the goal was my favorite part. The goal at the end was my favorite part. But the part that I most respect from this Dynamo team today is how they shut down Marco Reus, a man who played a Champions League final less than a year ago. So it was going to be tough, obviously, even with Ache helping defensively, and then even with Brooklyn Reigns entering the match, it was going to be tough to limit Marco Reus. But I thought they did that excellent today. I honestly don't know how they did it, to be completely honest with you, because Riqui Puig was running circles around the midfield at times. But I don't remember too many times when Marco Reus had touches that were productive to his team.
I forgot he played until they subbed him out. I mean, we talked about it prior to the game, Ache versus Reus. I mean, this is a friggin' nice matchup for nostalgia. But once the game happened, it was the LA attack minus Reus. Like, we was friggin' all over the place, and I think that man ran circles into himself and created some dangerous opportunities. But Arthur, for one, and the rest of the defense, Eric and Mikhail, focused on that mid. And anything that Ricky was able to do had to be a final touch pass to get to that forward. Ricky wasn't taking shots. He's just looking for that assist. And we did a great job cutting off that passing lane and keeping him from being so dangerous. He was all over the place, but man, we did a good job of defending the block and not letting him be dangerous. Blocking those shots, man.
And that's why we're sitting here fifth, because the Dynamo are good defensively. That's their forte. And to touch on your point, Riqui Puig ran that midfield. He ran that midfield. He was looking for through balls, which I wish the Dynamo would do to Aliyu. Put him in behind the defense. That's what he was doing for LA Galaxy, putting pressure on our defense. But to OSG's point, Eric and Mikael and Arthur work together in that triangle to keep it compact and in the middle and prevent those dangerous opportunities.
Something you just mentioned, playing the balls through. We do not do that at all offensively. And we were sitting here watching Ponce make runs, and don't trust Aliyu to make runs anyway, so we're not, whatever. If he can figure out the offside thing, then let's put through balls and let's stretch the field. But Ponce's trying to make some runs as well. And we're not seeing that, and that's not our style, so we miss it a lot. Dorsey didn't even push up at all tonight, which I'm glad he didn't, because the guy that was beating his butt all night was too fast for him. So less options getting up top in the attack, but when we can't do that with our right wing back playing forward, that leaves some more space to put our striker that's making those runs, who is a target striker in the box, but bro, he's out here 40 yards away from goal making runs. Let's give him the ball. Let's see what he can do. Let's stretch the field and catch them less defenders, because the way we play, teams are allowed to defend because we don't move the ball quick enough. We don't push the tempo and push the pace.
We allow them to get set and defend us.
Yeah. And then we get beat on the counter because we're pushed up so much into the attack.
Right.
But
well now
this was a friggin' awesome friggin' game. Excellent game to watch. Fun all the way. One of those stressful on the ends of the seats. Thank you for the win.
And something I did want to mention about the transitional style of the Dynamo. We know this. They're not a transitional team. There are a couple times where I do wish they would be a little quicker. But most of those chances, even transition teams don't convert half the time on those types of chances. So I can understand why this team doesn't try it. Doesn't make it any less annoying when you see Aliyu or Ponce making that run. But I can understand, because if you're the Dynamo, you don't want this game to be too chaotic. That's why we don't like playing against players like Riqui Puig or Marco Reus, even though we were able to shut him down. We don't like playing against those players because they wreak havoc. They break away from the status quo. We are a very positional play style team. So at least in that sense, I'm fine that we didn't play transitionally. It would have been cool a couple times, but I do think the risks outweigh the benefits.
I think so, man. Fox, how else are you feeling now that we've relaxed an hour after the game? Heard the press conference. We're obviously recording Noodle Time up here in the web section. Thank you, Web, for allowing us to. But man, tell us how you feel now. Let's wipe it all off. Stress release.
Our fearless leader.
Yeah. Man, you just gotta look forward against Seattle, because it's a tough place to play, but we're a pretty good road team, and it's kind of, to an extent, back to square one, in the sense that, okay, we're in the postseason now. What we did it in the season, there's a lot to learn from, but now square one, and we gotta go to Seattle first to make our case for MLS Cup. And I feel like this team has it. This team has the pieces to try and go all the way. Obviously, we're missing some starters that could have definitely helped us along the way, but just the way the boys have been able to handle this season, I'm very hopeful as to what they can do. The one thing I wanted to mention that this is the Dynamo broke their record of having the most points earned in a single season, 54 points.
Wow.
Another record on top of the road wins that they earned this year, and this team is capable of doing a lot of things, and I'm extremely hopeful.
There's another one too that Herman brought up during the press conference I'd like to hear again.
Yes, so Ben Olsen, with tonight's win, in a 2-year span, breaks the franchise record with 29 wins.
In 2 seasons, a new
In
record.
2
seasons,
seasons.
yeah.
One more than our legendary coach,
Wow.
Dominic Kinnear.
Yeah.
And this win gives me those dream, scream, believe vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out Dominic Kinnear.
It's,
Shout out, bro. History. We're bringing it back.
Yeah.
Another thing I did want to mention as well, before the match, in the tailgates, the supporter sections for the Dynamo got their hands on the Copa Texas Shield as the team in Texas that got the most points. The Cowboy hat as a trophy looks pretty damn cool. And I honestly think it's fun for the fans. For the last match of the season home, have a little bit piece of silverware. So
Yeah.
It's fun. It's not like Austin celebrates it.
Yeah.
What we did was just drink out of it. And it was
well, not me, but
They're going to start doing that next
it
year.
was tequila. That's all.
Hey man, we get to drink off of it and go to the postseason.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it's
Copa Texas
amazing.
Shield champions,
Amazing.
It's a hat, but we called it a cup tonight.
Literally.
But man, hey, real quick before we transition into Dose in this playoff game that we're getting ready to
More playoffs.
More playoffs, is right. Hey guys, I want to bring up we're kind of doing something within ourselves, and we're passing it out to all the fans and all the people. So when you're hearing this, if it's not Tuesday yet, ask me for it, and I'll give it to you so you can vote. But we're doing a fan awards for the season for the Dynamo, and MVP, offensive MVP, Player of the Year, Newcomer of the Year, all this other good stuff. And we plan on doing this show later on in the week and giving you your season awards. So not only do you get a Noodle Time this week, you're going to get a Noodle seasonal award show during the middle of the week, and all this to prepare you for the playoffs and get you hyped up and pumped up. So hit me up if you get it in time. I will be posting in the Discords and on all socials. So if you've seen it, thank you for submitting your votes. And I hope you're right.
The Foxtrot Dynamo Awards.
Yeah.
Oh, I like
the Foxtrot
that.
Dynamo Awards.
nice little ring to it.
Like,
Hey,
yeah.
let's transition into Dose real quick. I know some of y'all probably have final thoughts. Real quick, before we even transition into it, are Dose going to get out of this round?
Yes. I say yes, because I
Yes.
believe.
Armand, Fox?
I gotta say yes, man.
It's not
Like,
Tacoma,
these
so
boys.
the answer is yes.
Yes.
yes. Yes.
They're hot. They're
Hey,
hot.
let's work from right to left. We'll end up with Andres. Any final thoughts on this Dynamo game right here?
Looking forward to the challenge of Seattle. If we're able to move on from that round, watch out for the Dynamo.
And let's remember, it's a 3-game series, away, home, away, and there has to be a winner in every game. So we'll go to penalty shootouts like MLS Next Pro if the game is still tied at the end of the regulation. Juan, your final thoughts on tonight's Dynamo game?
Well, first of all, thank you everybody for watching. We love doing this
Yeah.
for all of you guys. Like, your support, absolutely amazing. At least for the Dynamo, today was a day full of emotions. I actually don't show up this early, so getting to see the Copa Texas Shield, seeing the game happen, just the whole lead up to this match. The fans made it special, the team made it special, and I don't think there would be a better way to wrap up. If this season could be wrapped up in one game, all the highs, the lows, and eventually the records that we've set, I think today was a perfect example of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Andres, I want to hear what your final thoughts are as well.
And I definitely agree because there's a lot to take in from this year in particular. A lot of people, hopefully they'll be back for the game, game 2 against Seattle here. But a lot of people have been going back home after tonight with all the positive energy, all the everything that we have accomplished, really, not just the records, but all the good moments, how we learn from the bad moments. And I'm just happy for all of us. Not just like us 4 or 5, but just like the fans that have been sticking around this team for so many years through the bad moments, and I'm just happy for them. And No, yeah, man, all this effort, I definitely know that this team can overcome any challenge as long as they set their sights into it. They can take this series in Seattle, so I'll have to take in. So yeah,
This is
looking forward
what's
to
great
it.
about it, and we also have not had this guy on camera before, but this is our team photographer, Foxtrot TV.
Arun, yeah.
Coming to all our
Drifter
games.
Dive
and-
Photography.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Shout out. Shout out Drifter Dive Photography. He's there, man. He's there.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you for taking all those badass photos. But
Yes, sir.
hey, y'all. This is your Foxtrot crew right here. I'm on this side. So this is your Shell Energy Stadium with the beautiful Houston on the seats. I think it's time that we transition over to Dose and we see what happens in the playoffs, guys. Look forward to talking to y'all again on the other side.
Yes, sir. All right, yo. So it's time for those. Season
What happened?
ends for Houston Dynamo those. 2-1 loss at the Town FC. I am sad because I was watching this game and it just felt like even though they've been trying to get forward. Hey man, that's West Coast energy, man. I hate it because it's every time it's not Tacoma Defiance, but it's still the West Coast, so we're gonna be playing a little bit iffy.
Close
But
enough,
still, like,
bro.
just
Close enough.
The game itself, like sometimes it just felt out of reach in the first half
Well,
of
hold on.
the game.
The
Yeah.
lineup before you even start the friggin' game. Like there's Arzu's on the bench.
Yeah.
Asila's on the bench. Those are two players that you thought should have started this game. Granted, you have DiMorelli and Arzu just they're rotating with each other. And those are the two players switching positions with each other. But so DiMorelli got to start and then scored a goal off a rebound. But you know, you're expecting Arzu to start and getting more minutes than what he did. Maybe he's still, I guess he's still hurt for not getting that many minutes. But you know, couple questions right there with the starting lineup, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, because I was feeling Arsenal was gonna start here. I guess they just preferred Batioja on the wing and all that. But I felt like Arsenal was just gonna
I'm fine with
be.
Andy on the left. It's DiMorelli on the right where Arzu plays. Got the start, and I'm okay with DiMorelli too. But you know, in the end, hindsight, afterthought, whatever. You know, Arzu's just more dangerous and more of a threat than DiMorelli, and so Arzu should have got that start over there. But you know, we don't know the whole story behind with Arzu. Is he 100% fit? He may not be. He looks it, but I guess not.
Like Demar really did get the equalizing goal. Like granted, it was a rebound, but yeah, this game overall, like, it was just for a good chunk of the game, you just felt like it was out of reach because the Town were just going over those, just getting a lot of opportunities, and for some reason it's ended to a 2-1, and we weren't able to overcome that. We weren't able to bring that extra edge to have that advantage over like on as a visitor. And it's just disappointing because like they've been giving a lot of effort, particularly in the later half of the year, and it's just unfortunate how the season ended. So it just sucks overall because we've been seeing the players, and whenever they travel to Austin, even the family were talking to us about all like everything that has been going on this year, and it just sucks. But that's just how the business goes.
Sucks, bro. 3 years in a row, 3 straight playoff, 3 straight first round exits. You know, obviously
Yeah,
2 to Tacoma, now 1 to the Town FC. So it just sucks because we've had a lot of talent on Dose, and Kenny Bundy's done a great job. Now Jeremy Bundle. So, you know, we just
Jeremy
gotta
Hurdle. Yeah.
hurdle. Sorry, yeah, hurdle. Just gotta. Man, I wish it wasn't so like, hey, the second team has to play so much like the first team. In a sense, let the second team play the way they play. with the players you have. Bring the players in that play to your style, and like just play the style that fits those players. And if they fit to the first team, then they make the first team. If they don't, then they don't. You let them go, or you sell them off to somebody else, man. But this is just tough. Hey, you're on the road. We don't play well on the road at all. 5-game losing streak on the road, now 6. It, it's all right. It was a tough season. So to make it where we made it, I guess, was the expectations prior to the season was better. The results was worse. After the results, you're like, okay, well, whatever. We were lucky to even make it here. So that's kind of where I'm at. That's how I feel.
And I can see that because, like, from the start of the year and just throughout, like, getting into the halfway point of the year, it was kind of like, this isn't those, or at minimum, this isn't the dose that we've been accustomed to, because they've been amazing, and they've been staying above the playoff line for like over 3 or 4 positions, and like this year in particular for me, it was just a lot of overcoming the odds and just changing things around, like transitioning the team into growing, or at least trying to get to know each other. Because the one thing that we've been like discussing, especially heading into or like early in the year, was just the fact that they just seemed out of sync, and they just seemed like they weren't trying to play for the result. And a lot of credit goes to them, like we've been saying for the past few episodes now. A lot of credit goes to them for the fact that they've been able to get into the postseason for the third time in a row, but we're not able to get past the quarterfinals. So the one goal I have for them, for even if they're able to like make the playoffs for the fourth year in a row next year, they have to overcome that. They have to think better. They have to get into the next level, because it's just annoying the fact that like it's been already like this since the start of MLS NEXT Pro. Like we can do so much better, but we are still falling behind for some reason.
Well, the best part about that is we're a development level team. So success isn't the greatest friggin' thing that they're looking for, obviously, right? It's
Yep.
it's the development of the individuals. Like, of course, how you play as a team makes a hell of a friggin' difference, right? And man, I don't know, man. Like you said, there's a lot of talent. It's a struggle. Why can't we play better? You have a lot of players that you believe fit in, and there's just so much talent friggin' there. And there's talent that we hope that is ready for the first team here pretty soon too. And Diego Gonzalez, Sebastian Rodriguez, Exxon Arzu, Silla even, and then there's still a Nor on the bench who doesn't get a lot of playing time, who must be slacking off in practice, but yeah, I don't know. Just develop the players. And I'm great with Kenny Bunny and Jeremy Hurdle, whoever the coach is going to be next year. We're not sure if Kenny Bunny. I didn't confirm if Kenny Bunny got a long-term contract with the first team, or if he's or you've got to reset once the season ends and go back to Dose. So we'll see what happens right there. But I'm okay with Jeremy Hurdle being the Dose coach as well too. I like what he's done. I like what he does with the boys. The boys play well for him. It just kind of sucks the situation. So it's hard with interchanging players too throughout the season as well.
And we're not gonna see the roster until probably the first week of the year, which sucks because we want to see a lot of
Oh
these
yeah,
players
yeah.
back. Yeah, it's just annoying how that works because we expect the roster or like the preseason roster to be announced, but the thing we've been noticing is just like they just announce the season roster like the week before or like a few days before the season starts, and it's just annoying. But yeah, like I just hope that they keep the core and they just grow the level, because like I definitely get how they see success, because they just prioritize playing time for all these players to develop over time. they don't necessarily look at wins and how we know the season as a success. But it will be pretty good to see that rewarded, or like how they are able to succeed because of those wins, and if they even if they've been able to like make it to that deep into playoffs, that would just be great to see. Or hopefully heading into next year or like in the future.
We'll just. It is what it is with Dose, man. Like you said, we don't know much. You don't hear much. Everything's last, of course, because the first team's a priority, and you're filling the Dose roster last, and they start the season later than you, obviously. But Dose is fun to watch, man, and fun to follow. So we can't be too disappointed that they didn't make it in the playoffs. I mean, technically, it's a developmental team. It's not a team built
Yep.
to win championships. So you know, as much as it sucks that we lost tonight, it's not the end of the world. Like, it's the second team, granted. So we're looking more towards the individual talents and the individual players. Can they play as a team? Can they play in unison? Does their individual talent and their team talent work together? Does that give them priority to make the first team? So that's what we're looking for technically. That's what they need to learn to do, which I'm pretty sure they understand. There's a lot of coaching going on at the same time, but you know, I would assume that, hey, this is what you need to do if you want to make this first team, besides making the second team as best as we can make it right now. You also have to do this on top of that as well, which is a lot of pressure for these kids, man. They're kids. They're kids. They're literally Sebastian Rodriguez is 17, and this man's just traveling the world right now. Been to Poland, just got back from Poland, right? Yesterday, I think, or 2 days ago, and then played this friggin' game. Went to Slovenia a month ago for playing with the U18 Mexican national team, playing with Dose, all the traveling. The kid's homeschooled because he's playing, because he has to train and has to do all this. It's amazing what these kids do and what they go through and still be competitive. So I give a shout out to all those Dose players, man. Just give yourself an opportunity. You'll get there. You'll figure it out, man. And y'all keep pushing, man. Look at Book and Range right now. Look at Book and Range, man. He's 18 and he's making that extra push, and Ben Olsen's finally recognizing the kid, and he's doing his job, man. And like we've talked about in the Dynamo segment, him just coming in and subbing for Ache and doing his friggin' job. Remarkable. So that's what y'all have to look forward to, man. So there's an individual right there to look after, man, and ask questions. Brooklyn, how do we do this, bro? Right there, man. There's everybody else did it too. So hey, I'm not knocking Dose at all, man. It is what it is. We lost tonight, so what? We move.
We move toward 2025 because no more those this year, man. Unfortunately,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's all right.
It,
That's
it
all right.
just it just how it works, yeah.
Yeah. See him at the
But yeah,
playoff
guys, we're
game
still
in
gonna
the
be
stands.
here. Yeah, we're still gonna be here. One more game for the Dash. As far as we know, two more games for the Dynamo. Probably more, depending on how they do the playoffs. And we're gonna be there all the way, guys. So as always, we do appreciate every time you listen to our episodes or watch them on YouTube, and keep up with the content on our Ko-Fi page, ko-fi.com/dynamic foxtrot, ko-fi.com/dynamic foxtrot, and of course on Twitter, we're posting all of our content at dynamic foxtrot, at Unroll Tiempo, also on Instagram at dynamic foxtrot, and Goals TV. A good way to check out a lot of soccer content going on, especially the creators there as well. And man, it might be a busy postseason for us. We'll see how far we make it for the Dynamo, but man, it's just how it goes. We'll see.
Hey, and shout out to I was actually I think I made a lot of rounds at Shell on Saturday night again with the LA Galaxy, and just going into the stands and just making rounds and the pregame and the halftime show and just doing everything that I was doing during the game. Ran into people left and right, and the shout outs to y'all. Y'all know who yous are. The list is long that all y'all that said hello whenever y'all saw me walking on the concourse or saw me in the stands or even just came to us at the press box and said hello. Shout out to y'all. Big H's up. That's 2 H's right there because I only got 2. I can give you the best right there. But shout out to y'all for coming and saying hello and respect to y'all and keep it going, man. And just running around just in the stadium, just seeing fans that we recognize that are right there that don't come and say hi to us. Just kind of saying, walking by and they're like, hey, OSG. I'm like, hello. Hey, oh shit, I know you, bro. I know you. I recognize the name. I recognize the face. So shout out to all y'all. We appreciate y'all support. Keep saying hello. Keep commenting. And then again, y'all have 24 hours once or less than 24 hours. This is going to be you. If you hear this on Monday, you still have time to vote for the Foxtrot season awards. So get your
Yep.
vote in. You can find it on our page. It'll keep getting posted, so it's not hard to find. Or DM us, ask us for it if you can't find it. It's in the Discord as well. Vote. You have till Monday night to vote. The announcement will come probably Wednesday, but we'll send out the rewards to everybody on Tuesday, and then hopefully we can let some players know at the next game too, and make them proud that the fan awards have been announced. But yeah, shout out to y'all, man. Thank y'all. OSG mileage tracker. I made it home at 3:24 today, as a matter of fact. So good
Yep.
traveling, all good times. I'm tired of staying there. I get there, I come back, and I'm gonna stay there when I live there. And we'll do that. We'll do that, hopefully.
Yep. Hopefully in the future. But yeah, how it goes, y'all. Like, we do appreciate support every single time. And as always, stay loyal, y'all.